Well, this is not particularly good news for those looking for a growth scenario in the U.S. The ISM Services Index falls more than anticipated. It's still positive, but at 52.6 after 53.4. The consensus was for 53. But what's really interesting is the sub-indexes are almost all better. In this case, new orders are up to 56.1 from 55. Production is up to 57.2 from 55.8. Employment, one of the few that goes down, 48 from 50.5. So that's something to keep in mind for Friday, and it may have an impact on the market's forecast for what we get on Friday. And prices paid, 58.6, down from 64. That also good news in the sense of it tells the Fed that maybe inflation is not going to be a major issue. Yesterday, we had Raphael Bostic talking about companies being sort of enthusiastic about what's going on in the U.S. economy. And one of the things he pointed out, inventories were lower, and that's what we're seeing here. Inventories 47.4 from 49.1. It suggests that maybe companies are going to have to rebuild stocks, and that could boost the economy going forward. So a lot of cross currents in this number. Katie will also mention that factory orders come in down 3.6% after a negative 0.3 in the month of December. Factory orders ex-transportation down 0.8%. So this is still the hangover from Boeing not getting really any orders in January. Capital goods orders, non-defense ex-air flat. That's better than we had seen before, a slight decline. So businesses at least not pulling back.
And before we get to Friday, of course, and those jobs numbers, we have to get through Powell's testimony in front of Congress. I believe that kicks off tomorrow. Just quickly, what are we expecting to hear from the Fed chair?
Well, Wall Street and Washington are going to want to know when the Fed's going to cut rates and by how much, because it will affect both what you can earn and whether you get elected. But the Fed chair is probably not going to talk about that too much. He'll probably reiterate that the Fed has got more work to do on inflation. They're going to be watching the data, and that their decision will have nothing to do with politics. But plenty of other political topics could come up, including bank regulation, the Fed's balance sheet on which they lose money, and other things like that. So it could be an interesting hearing, but nobody will get what they really want, which is a date certain for a rate cut.